92. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. This is the Scoreboard here on WSIC. I'm your host, as always, Joe Berg. 704-873-1400. That's the phone number if you want to call in, have something to talk about, something on your mind. Maybe you want to talk about how bad the Carolina Panthers are going to be this year. Maybe you're an overreactor. Maybe you're an underreactor and you're like, who cares about the preseason? Maybe you think it's awesome that Michael McDowell got a win this weekend. How awesome was that? Anything you want to talk about, give me a call, 704-873-1400. And we are going to start with the Panthers because I know it's on everybody's mind because this weekend we had Panthers football back. And they got shut out by the Jets 27-0 while none of their real starters played and Bryce Young didn't look good and the defense looked not great and it was a tough game. But don't overreact because it is week 1 of the preseason. We still have 2 more preseason games to go. And then we can get into the regular season and we'll really, evaluate how good or bad this team is going to be this year because it's just the preseason. The starters aren't playing the whole game. The Jets didn't have any of their starters in. I know it would have probably been worse if had the Jets starters played. I can tell you that much. But it's preseason. We're just going to not overreact, okay? Now, Bryce Young, 4 for 6, 21 yards. He was sacked twice. Not really his fault, but the one thing that I thought about while I was watching, and I watched the highlights, I got to say, I did not watch the Panthers game because if you remember, we had an interview with the CEO of the Charlotte Street Hockey League, CSHL. They had their tournament over the weekend, the Summer Slapper Tournament. It was hot. It was hot. It was fun, but that was the reason I wasn't able to catch the game is because I was running around in 95-degree weather in Ballantyne in Charlotte. And I'll tell you what, it was fun. It was awesome. I loved going to their events, but it would have been a lot more fun had me and my team not scored 1 goal in 4 games. That was a little bit of a bummer. I'm not going to lie. A little bit of a bummer. But nonetheless, it was an awesome event, a lot of fun. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the Panthers because of that. I did catch all the highlights, saw some of the reaction from the game. And Matt Corral had a decent game. Not great. But like I said, it's preseason. The coaches are really just trying to round out this roster. And I think Matt Corral could play himself into a backup role. He's just got to do a little better. Good completion percentage, but maybe don't throw an interception, maybe throw a touchdown. A little more than 10 yards per pass would be nice, or per completion even. Because that just tells me you're check down, check down, check down. That's not going to do anything for you. And I mean, it's hard to have any standout players when you get beat 27-0. I can't shout out to the special teams, I guess. Good job. But a 27-0 game there is not ideal. And hey, you know what? It'll be okay. I can tell you that right now because it's the preseason. I know you're going to hear that a lot over the next few weeks. But it is. We cannot overreact to this. We'll see how they do Friday against the Giants. And with that being said, that brings me to a small announcement. The Panthers preseason game next week, or this week, is Friday. The game is at 7. The pre-show is at 6 o'clock. So in lieu of the Scoreboard, there will be Panthers being broadcast on WSIC. So we will not be here on Friday, but you'll be able to listen to the Panthers preseason game. They take on the Giants. They'll be in New York for that one, so we'll see how that goes. Two teams that aren't going to be great this year going up against each other. The Jets have expectations, so that's one of the reasons that we can't really say that the Panthers are going to be terrible this year, because they played a team that's got a really well-rounded roster. At least going up against the Giants, they'll be a little bit more evenly matched, especially once the backups come in. But maybe somebody will shine. It would be wonderful, because nobody shined when you lose 27-0. It's just impossible. And there's really no good to talk about, which is the bad thing. I think this team can be good. They just didn't figure it out. It's going to take a few weeks. New head coach, new quarterback, a lot of new things going on. But they'll take on the Giants. Then they'll come back home, take on the Lions. And week 1 will be September 10th against the Falcons. And we're going to do a preview later this week on the entire Panthers season. So make sure you stay tuned throughout the week, because we will have one show dedicated to the Panthers season, predicting what's going to happen, going through every game-by-game matchup, and we'll talk all about Panthers. For one show is going to be a Panthers special. Spoiler, I don't think they're going to do good. That's just me. I could be wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong. But like I said, nothing really great to talk about with the Panthers, so we're just going to go on to some other news, because I don't feel like talking. We're going to cram all the negative into this first segment here. Charlotte FC lost. Unfortunate. Yeah, I know. They played Messi, they played Inter Miami, and they lost 4-0. Now, here's the thing. I said on the morning show with Justin Kazepis, I said if Charlotte doesn't let Messi score, then they'll have a good chance. Well, it was 3-0 before Messi scored, so I guess the game was already out of hand. But hey, I mean, Messi scores, they win. It's going to be, I think Inter Miami is going to all of a sudden come out of nowhere, rocket up the standings, go to the playoffs, and win. Why wouldn't they? They have the greatest player in the world on their team who's scoring over a goal a game in this tournament. It's unreal. That's what I see coming out of the Leagues Cup. If we're still watching the Leagues Cup, I know we kind of got to wait for Charlotte FC to get back into action. Now, they would be playing Inter Miami next, but because they were playing each other in the Leagues Cup, that game got postponed. So the next time we're going to see Charlotte FC in action is going to be Saturday, August 26th. So we got a little bit of time before we get to see them back in action. Hopefully that's not too much time, because they did have some momentum going. Getting into the quarterfinals in the first place is awesome. I don't think many people predicted that. So hopefully some of that momentum, even with the couple of weeks off that they're going to have, they're not going to lose too much momentum. They're going to be all right. But coming up, we do have some weird, wacky, wild, incredible news coming up here out of the NFL. A couple of signings, and if we remember Michael Orr with The Blind Side, remember the story about that guy? Well, there's some news about him that's pretty saucy. Pretty saucy. So just make sure you stay tuned here to WSIC, your home for your favorite local and national sports. I know you love it so much. This is the best show you watch, right? Out of all, even better than the Justin Kazepis morning show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back here on the Scoreboard. Talk about Michael Orr and what's going on with him, but it's going to be fun. So we'll see you in a bit right after this.
If you have an upcoming event, let WSIC spread the word. Go to WSICnews.com and click on the Community Calendar button. WSIC, proud to be part of your community.
Here is your WSIC Community Calendar. Asheville native Kanan Cox is performing Friday, August 25th at Kane Center for the Arts. Get your tickets while they last. Show starts at 8 p.m. Visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to showcase your music skills? Richard's Coffee Shop and Military Museum in downtown Mooresville has their music jam sessions every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon. Richard's Coffee Shop, located in downtown Mooresville. For more info, visit welcomevets.com. Ever dreamed of seeing Freddie Mercury and Queen live? Absolute Queen, a Queen tribute, will be playing at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius Friday, August 18th. Tickets are $20 online. Enjoy live music and at a fun venue. Absolute Queen, Friday night at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius. To buy tickets, visit boatyardlkn.com. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic downtown walking tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. What would it be like to play glow stick bingo? Come check out the Bingo Glow Party at the Statesville Civic Center. Tuesday, August 22nd, doors open at 6 p.m. All games will be played under blacklight. Glow stick bingo at the Statesville Civic Center. For more info, visit civiccenter.statesvillenc.net. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 75 and southwest winds 5 to 11 miles per hour. New precipitation amounts of less than 1/10 of an inch, except higher amounts possible in thunderstorms. Tuesday, we'll have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 92 and southwest winds 6 to 9 miles per hour. From WSIC's Weather Center, I'm Dan Sutton.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive. Whatever the season is, Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, and we're always streaming the video. We are back on YouTube yet again. We didn't get banned last week, so we're back on YouTube, and we've always been on Facebook and Twitter, and I'm pretty sure we're on LinkedIn, Instagram, somewhere. We're a whole bunch of places. WSICnews.com. So if you want to watch the video, or if you want to listen to any show on demand, you can go to the website. We have it all there in podcast format for you, so you'll never miss a show. So we have some signings in the NFL that just happened. One free agent, one player who was holding out. The Patriots have signed ex-Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott to a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million. The Patriots play in Dallas in week 4. Man, what a script. The NFL writers never fail us. I'm not saying it's scripted. I'm just saying they never fail us when they do write it. So the Patriots get a running back at a pretty good value there. Still could have gotten one for cheaper in the draft. And Zeke Elliott had a great start to his career, but just like all current running backs, he kind of stopped producing as well towards the end of his first contract. He signed a big one, and then a year after he signs his big contract, here comes Tony Pollard, who's younger, a little, not much younger, a little younger, less mileage on him, and outperforms Zeke. So I still think, you could have gotten somebody cheaper in the draft, but we're still signing running backs to decent contracts. Good for them. I mean, the running backs have to get signed. I don't know what we're going to do about it. But that's the first signing. Now, the holdout has to do with the team that Zeke Elliott used to play for. Cowboys guard Zach Martin, probably one of the 3 best guards in the league. If you had to rank them, probably top 2, maybe number 1. Quentin Nelson might beat him out. He might. But nonetheless, Zach Martin agreed to a reworked contract of $18 million per year for the next 2 years. He signed a 6-year, $84 million extension in 2018. But as it happens in the NFL all the time, you sign a contract, in 3 years, your contract is like mid-tier because the salary cap goes up, contracts go up. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. He's like the 8th highest paid quarterback right now per year, obviously. And remember when we said, oh my goodness, $500 million for 10 years? That's a little much. Well, it's kind of a deal now, only paying $50 million a year annually. I mean, if you ask me, that's a bargain. But Zach Martin back in camp now that he signed his extension, or I guess reworked deal where he's going to get a lot more money per year. Good for him. So we have those signings. We can put those to bed because we have juicy news. This is going to be a wild story. All right. Retired NFL star Michael Orr, who's he was the player, the person who The Blind Side was made. You know, The Blind Side based on a true story. Well, that true story was Michael Orr. Played for the Panthers, offensive lineman. So Michael Orr petitioned a Tennessee court on Monday with allegations that a central element of the story was a lie concocted by the family to enrich itself at his expense. So, the petition alleges that the Tuohys, I believe is how you pronounce it, used their powers in a conservatorship to strike a deal that paid them and their children millions of dollars in royalties, while Orr got nothing for a story that, quote, would not have happened without him. So he's alleging that he was never actually adopted, and that when he turned 18, the parents tricked him into signing a document making them his conservators, which gave them legal authority to make business deals in his name. That's a heavy claim right there. And I don't remember what the details were. I don't know if they really got into the details in the movie, but I don't remember if they actually, like, in the movie officially adopted him or they just kind of brought him in. I don't remember, but this would, I know that in the real story is he was never really adopted. He was just brought in. But the signing of the conservatorship, that's something else, because he lost pretty much all ability to make royalties on this thing. And he was the star. He was the person who this book, it was a book originally, was made after. I don't think anybody saw this coming. So, since at least August of 2004, conservators have allowed Michael specifically and the public to believe that conservators adopted Michael and have used that untruth to gain financial advantages for themselves and the foundations for which they own or exercise control. So they have a foundation, the family, for adopted children. So I guess they did some good with the money, but I mean, man, this is insane. And the book was released in 2006 called The Blind Side: Evolution of a Game. That is what started this story. And then obviously Sandra Bullock starring in the movie The Blind Side, based on an extraordinary true story. And they have that scene where he's blocking the kid and he sends him out of the field. Coach said, what are you doing? He said he got to go to the parking lot or something like that. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I remember that scene specifically. This is crazy. Now, the lawyers for the family has said that they are going to file court documents or some kind of court. I don't know what the legal jargon is, but they're going to do something in response to this. So I don't know where this is going to go, but this is easily the craziest story of the NFL preseason, because I guess this is now Michael Orr's retired, so maybe it's just kind of a story of the NFL year. Like, man, the whole thing built on a lie, huh? I mean, I would say I'm surprised, but these kind of things don't surprise me anymore when people end up being not great. Just the time that we live in is what it is. But, man, I feel bad for Michael Orr. Never profited off of the film, and it grossed over $300 million. Now, obviously, he got paid very well in the NFL, but I don't think this is the problem here. We're not talking about the money. This is a whole other issue where he's in a conservatorship, and is it still going on? Is he petitioning to end it and recoup what he lost? So it's a 14-page petition, and this was earlier today that it was reported on, right around noon. Michael Fletcher with ESPN had this up at noon. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't know if you go to trial for this kind of stuff. I'm no lawyer. Maybe we can have a lawyer call into the show and tell me what all of this stuff means. I don't know what it means to petition a court. I'm not a legal person. Does somebody who understand, if they could call in and kind of let me know what that means, 704-873-1400. I know nothing about law. Nothing. Never took a law class in my life. I know radio. I can talk on the radio. And sports. And entertainment. Which I am bad at. Anyway. I don't know where this story is going to go. So the family didn't return phone calls, obviously. The lawyer said that they're going to respond. And this could go to court, I guess. I don't know if he's like... I don't know. I can't really explain this well enough because I just don't know what, like, petitioning a court. I guess that means you went there and you said, hey, I have this conservatorship. Here's my evidence. Can you get me out of this now that I'm a retired NFL player who's just trying to live? I don't know. I guess I kind of remember some of this stuff from, like, wasn't this the whole Britney Spears situation with her dad, like with a conservatorship, something like that? I don't know. I know, like I said, legal stuff, not my forte. But this is legal stuff that has to do with sports, so I'm going to try to talk about it and try to keep you up to date with it. I guess we'll know more as we go through this legal process. But I cannot believe that this is coming out now. And 14-year career, and he kept it quiet that whole time until he retired. I don't know how, but I guess he was so focused on training and playing and practicing, he didn't really have time to think about this. But now that he's like got time on his hands, he said, hey, this makes no sense. And I agree. We'll come back with some NASCAR talk because we had a first-time winner on the season, not first career win, first win of the season. And then we'll talk about the MLB a little later on. So stay tuned here on the Scoreboard, WSIC. My name's Joe Berg, 704-873-1400, and we will be back after this.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News. Talk. Now. Local news and weather now on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. News, talk, now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. In the first 6 months of the year, Energy United Foundation awarded more than $300,000 to individuals, households, families, and nonprofit organizations throughout the cooperative's 19-county service area. Nearly $80,000 was donated in the month of June alone. Energy United officials recently hosted check presentations in recognition of the foundation's 4 nonprofit donations in June, which totaled $31,530. Recipients include Just Hope, Rescue Ranch 957 Mobile Care, and the Neighborhood Care Center. Well, Deere and Company and Kriesel Electric GmbH, an Austrian company which John Deere acquired majority ownership of in 2022, will create 50 jobs in Forsyth County. John Deere Electric Powertrain LLC will invest $69.6 million to establish its North American headquarters and build a battery and charger manufacturing facility in the town of Kernersville. WSIC weather, partly cloudy, a 30% chance of showers or thunderstorms overnight, the low 75. Tuesday, a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, then becoming sunny with a high of 92. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
It's always great to have the right tools and supplies when working outside. Little Shavers Woodshop is ready to help. Little Shavers has all your wood, treated lumber, wood fencing, and all the treatment items to keep them looking great. PBG paints and stains, and add in some pine needles and Daddy Pete's mulch and soils, and your landscaping will be the best around. Head on over to Little Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Highway, right in between Statesville, Morrisville, and Moxville. Visit littleshaverswoodshop.com. That's LILShaverswoodshop.com.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with sign agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-613-8053. 800-613-8053. 800-613-8053. That's 800-613.
Thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
Perspective. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Panthers at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you have the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change, and mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Panthers.
Carolina dropped its preseason opener 27-0 to the Jets, but the game, the result, and the ensuing hot takes should remind us all it's just preseason. For what it's worth, the Jets opened last preseason with a win against the Eagles. Philadelphia won the NFC. New York missed the playoffs, finishing 7-10. So, while there are things to clean up, Panthers head coach Frank Reich cautions against overreaction.
We're trying to keep it simple so players can play fast. We can evaluate one-on-one play, and that's part of preseason play. And I give the Jets credit. You know, they played well and they played hard, and we did not do as well as we could do. But, you know, I've also seen this rodeo before, and so I'm still very confident the direction we're going, and I'm not worried or concerned. Is there a sense of urgency to correct the mistakes from today? Absolutely, we correct the mistakes from today. But I'm not panicking even in the slightest bit as a result of one preseason game.
Carolina's back at it Friday against the other New York team that plays in New Jersey, the Giants. I'm Anish Shroff on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
Where the heart of Lake Norman lives. WSIC. News, talk, now. Conversations that matter.
I gotta tell you, I'm afraid to even think about the next presidential election.
Led by you.
It's a mockery of American politics.
This is WSIC. News, talk, now.
All right. Welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. And if you want to be a part of the show, you can always call in 704-873-1400. Do you have legal background? Can you help us work our way through this legal jargon on the Michael Orr stuff? 704-873-1400. So this is interesting. This happened today, and it has nothing to do with any sport that's starting soon, as in football, or going on currently, or like the MLB. It's actually out of the NBA. It's James Harden calling out 76ers president Daryl Morey. And, well, I would tell you what he says, but he makes it pretty clear. So let's just go ahead and take a listen.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
So he says Daryl Morey is a liar, and he will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again. So I guess he's requesting a trade. He doesn't want to be in Philadelphia anymore. I'm pretty sure he had a player option, and he took the player option, and now he's requesting a trade. I'm sure that was because the player option was like, I don't know, so much money that he wouldn't have gotten that in free agency had he said, no, you know what, I'm going to reject the player option. But that's insane. You can't say that. You're still a part of the team. He doesn't have to trade you. Now, it would be smart to, because you don't want him to just, you don't want James Harden just sitting on the bench doing nothing, or even worse, sitting out, eating up cap space. You just want to get him out of there now. But he's lost all leverage. Everybody now knows James Harden wants nothing to do with Philadelphia, and we'll see where he ends up, if he ends up anywhere. He had a decent year last year. He's not as good as he once was, but I don't think this was the right move for James Harden. But I thought that was a little bit of an interesting story here in the middle of preseason football, in the middle of a couple of races to go until the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, in the middle of an MLB playoff race. Here's James Harden saying he will never be a part of a team that Daryl Morey's a part of again. So, there's your little bit of NBA news of the week. That's the first time we've talked NBA in quite some, since the draft, really. I think this is the first things that we cared about. You know, the NBA is a playoff-only sport, as I kind of like to call it. You know, hockey's kind of a playoff-only sport. Baseball is a playoff. Nobody cares about the regular season for the most part. It's like, all right, when do the playoffs start? Really, football is the only one where I can guarantee you everybody's watching every regular season game. For the most part, for the majority of fans, I think the NFL might be the only one that has that. But let's talk a little bit of NASCAR, because I've been putting it off. We are going to continue with NASCAR here for a little bit, but I do want to touch on the MLB because it is important. But we had a winner for the first time this season. Michael McDowell taking home the win at the Brickyard Road Course, leading 54 laps. Who would have thought? So Michael McDowell dominates at Indianapolis. Chase Elliott finished second. Daniel Suarez third. Tyler Reddick fourth. Alex Bowman fifth. Now, why is that important? Why is that little rundown important? Well, if you look at the standings and you look at the playoff cut line, Daniel Suarez now 28 points out after finishing third. But that's because Michael McDowell was not in the playoffs going into the race. He gets the win. He locks himself in. And now there's really only one points only spot available for right now. As of right now, there's only one left. There's no way that if there's a new winner that anybody's going to catch Keselowski or Harvick. Now, if we have a new winner again, guess what? Let's say, let's go through the list here. Let's say Chase Elliott does get it done at Watkins Glen, and he is going to be the odds-on favorite this weekend. I'm telling you right now, it's Monday afternoon. The race just ended. I'm telling you, Chase Elliott is going to be the favorite at Watkins Glen. So let's say he goes out and wins. He's currently 19th in the Cup Series points. 80 points from the cutoff line. Well, he jumps everyone. He gets a spot locked in the playoffs. And the next player on the bubble is Bubba Wallace. 28 points to the good. He falls under that cut line, putting Brad Keselowski as the bubble driver, I guess you would call it. And Bubba would be over 100 points behind Keselowski. There's just not enough points cushion for any of these guys that if there is a new winner, it might be tough for some of these guys who have been battling hard for the past few weeks. The win for McDowell is so clutch because he was right on that battling. And let's say Chase Elliott did pass him on that final lap. Chase Elliott's locked into the playoffs. Michael McDowell dominates a race and has nothing but a good points day to show for it. Good points day doesn't do anything for you in today's NASCAR. You need a win. But Michael McDowell gets that win, locks his way in the playoffs, and I thought it was a good race, honestly, all in all. So there was one caution. I'll tell you right now, there was one caution in 82 laps, and it happened on like lap 1 or 2. But other than that, once they went back green, there was pretty decent racing for most of the race, especially up front. I don't think the leaders, I know that the pit strategy and the cycle was weird, which I love, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more after the break. But you get into this weird sequence where some people have pit already, some people haven't pit already, but it was always McDowell, Suarez, and Elliott for 99% of the race. They all stayed within generally 3 seconds of each other up until that late race pit stop for Daniel Suarez where they got the air hose stuck under the left front tire. That was a tough break. But for the most part, there was good racing for the league. There was good racing for mid-pack. I liked it. I thought it was a good race, and it might be the last road course Indianapolis race because today the Cup Series was testing the next-gen car on the oval at Indianapolis. So we'll see what they do with that. That'll be interesting to track over the next year. Maybe next year's the last year of the road course. Maybe we just had the last year of the road course. But we're going to stick with NASCAR here when we get back. Make sure you stay tuned. The Scoreboard with me, your host, Joe Berg, on WSIC. And if you'd like to call in, 704-873-1400. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Whatever the story,
We have to end our dependence on China.
have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News, talk, now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Asheville native Kanan Cox is performing Friday, August 25th at Kane Center for the Arts. Get your tickets while they last. Show starts at 8 p.m. Visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to showcase your music skills? Richard's Coffee Shop and Military Museum in downtown Mooresville has their music jam sessions every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon. Richard's Coffee Shop, located in downtown Mooresville. For more info, visit welcomevets.com. Ever dreamed of seeing Freddie Mercury and Queen live? Absolute Queen, a Queen tribute, will be playing at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius Friday, August 18th. Tickets are $20 online. Enjoy live music and at a fun venue. Absolute Queen, Friday night at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius. To buy tickets, visit boatyardlkn.com. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic downtown walking tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. What would it be like to play glow stick bingo? Come check out the Bingo Glow Party at the Statesville Civic Center. Tuesday, August 22nd, doors open at 6 p.m. All games will be played under blacklight. Glow stick bingo at the Statesville Civic Center. For more info, visit civiccenter.statesvillenc.net. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 75 and southwest winds 5 to 11 miles per hour. New precipitation amounts of less than a tenth of an inch, except higher amounts possible in thunderstorms. Tuesday, we'll have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 92 and southwest winds 6 to 9 miles per hour. From WSIC's Weather Center, I'm Dan Sutton.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely. We hope you go out and visit the fine folks at G&M Milling Company in downtown beautiful Lowray, North Carolina. That's 4000 Taylorsville Highway, 704-873-5758. Give them a call or go visit for all your livestock needs, as far as feed or seed or whatever. They'll be glad to help you out. They're really good folks. I've known them for a long, long time. Go visit G&M Milling, 4000 Taylorsville Highway, Lowray, North Carolina.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News, Talk, Now.
All right, we are on the final segment here today, already on a busy Monday in terms of sports news. I don't know if I have time to get to all of it, because we still got to talk about the MLB. There's some news there. But we might just end the day with some NASCAR talk. If we have time, we'll go to the MLB. I can make that promise, because there is news with Wander Franco that deserves some time. I just don't know if I can give it justice today because it's been a busy day. We had a lot going on this weekend. Football, everybody's playing in the preseason. Charlotte FC on Friday night. NASCAR on Sunday and on Friday and Saturday for that matter. It was a busy weekend. So Michael McDowell takes the win at the Indy Road Course. Here is what McDowell had to say right after he won.
Oh man, this is such a dream come true. I'm so thankful to everybody at Front Row Motorsports, Bob Jenkins, Horizon Hobbies, Left Shop Soft Freight Auction, Chicago Pneumatic. Man, we had a fast Ford Mustang. Everybody at Roush H Engine Shop, Doug, these guys gave me everything today. We had the fastest car. We executed, we did what we needed to do. Just so thankful. So thankful to still be grinding it out in the Cup Series, to put on a performance.
And it was a great performance for McDowell, and they really only had one hiccup all race when they went on to pit road and they got beat out by Daniel Suarez. That was on the first green flag stop. If you remember correctly, McDowell slowed down way before the commitment line. Not sure why, but I would have thought that would have been communicated to him again, like that lap. Like, hey, as a reminder, this is where the commitment line is. This is what the speed is, so you can push it a little bit, and you don't have to be that conservative. Now, it was early in the race, and McDowell had the car to overcome that. But it was a big moment in the race because Suarez got in front. He could have pulled away if he had the car to do it, but he didn't. McDowell tracks him down, gets around him, and drives off into the sunset because once he took the lead again, he did not relinquish it. And he really only got the lead back because of that battle that was going on between the scoreboard's favorite driver, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski as they were battling for the Stage 2 win. They played the strategy game, and this is what I wanted to get into today. NASCAR needs to get rid of these cautions after the stage. I don't care if it's a road course. I don't care if it's a super speedway. I don't care if it's an oval. I don't care if it's Bristol. I don't care if it's dirt, asphalt, concrete. Who cares? These cautions at the stage break are killing the momentum of the race, and they're killing strategy. It was amazing seeing what we saw at Indy Road Course this week. Everybody was pitting on different laps, and it had a lot to do with, well, not a lot to do with it, but it had a little bit to do with some people pitting under that first caution of the race. They had a few more laps to work with, so they made it to the end of Stage 2. But this is what NASCAR needs, is strategy. They need multiple things. I mean, the leaders of the race were not leading the race for a majority of that second stage, and that was awesome. We had no caution, so the strategy game was playing out, the fuel mileage game, the tire game. How are they not taking notes on this? This race was incredible for a road course. This was like one of the better road course races of the year. I don't care that there were no cautions. I really don't. I don't need cautions every single time for it to be a good race. Now, I'm not crazy. I do love a good crash every now and then. And to be honest with you, what we saw Justin Haley do, I couldn't believe he drove that car for the rest of the race. That was absolutely incredible. And they didn't even throw a caution for it. But it was a good race. And I really hope that NASCAR is going to reevaluate this. Because tracks like Michigan have always been known to be, fuel mileage races. Charlotte usually ends up being a fuel mileage race. But now that they have these built-in cautions, it kills all that because the fuel mileage doesn't really line up with the stages. You might have to pit one time in a stage, but you're not going to be close on fuel after that. If you get an unlucky caution at a bad time, then yeah, it's going to be a fuel race. But I'm talking about earlier in the race, it's going to be a fuel race. It kind of is now. You see it every now and then, but not the way it was before these stage breaks started being implemented. And when they first announced stage breaks, I really thought that they were going to say, okay, they're just going to kind of award points at random laps in the race. That's a little weird, but whatever. No, they're going to throw caution and re-rack everybody. I don't know where it would make sense not to do that, or I know where it does make sense not to do it. It makes sense to not do that everywhere. I don't know what track you would want to do that. Maybe a 2-mile track because it could get kind of, strung out and there's no racing going on. At least it isn't the 2020 cars where they just kind of got in a line and nobody was able to pass ever. It was a good race, and I do hope that NASCAR is going to at least consider, because this is the first time that they've gotten rid of the stage break, the caution at least, at road courses since they introduced it. This is the first time they're taking it away. I like it. I think it's been going good all year. I think this is the best example of it going good is because we had racing all over the track. That battle for the Stage 2 win was amazing. It was some of the best racing we saw. We saw guys on new tires, old tires, positioning and all that. And McDowell got around Suarez because he got stuck behind the slower 6 car. Denny Hamlin was able to hold off for the win in stage 2. McDowell got around him no problem. Pulled away and won the race. But that's what NASCAR needs. And they just don't have that kind of racing anymore. You know, there's no, oh my goodness, we're going to have 3 consecutive green flag pit stops. It just doesn't happen anymore because you have these built-in cautions. And I don't know how many fans like the built-in cautions. I'm sure the newer fans are used to it, but if you're my age or even older, you know what it was like when they would just go out in there and race. And whoever had the most points at the end of the season is the champion. Now it's gimmicks and it's playoffs and it's one race to win the championship. One race. You could win 35 races. You could. Theoretically, you could win 35 races in a year. And if you don't win at Phoenix, you don't win the championship. Does that make sense? Not to me. Now, I guess it could be equated to going undefeated in any other sport and not winning, like, say, the Patriots in football when they were 16-0 and lost to the Giants. The Boston Bruins recently, they didn't go undefeated, but they had the greatest regular season ever, and they didn't win the championship. It's just not like other sports. It should be the cumulative year. Whoever has the most points at the end of the year wins it. I get what they're trying to do. I get it. We've understood it for years now. I just think it's time to go back. One more thing I wanted to shout out here before we close up shop for today. We didn't see much of SVG running in the top 5, but he did have a nice top 10 finish. Brody Kostecki, his Australian supercar counterpart, I guess if you want to call him, ended up finishing 22nd. They were the best 2 finishers of the road ringers, if you want to put some quotations around that, if you can even call them road ringers. Jensen Button, 26th. They were getting it in it with Kamui Kobayashi all race. So was Andy Lally. It was pretty cool to see some of those non-NASCAR guys rubbing fenders, because if you're an F1 driver like Jensen Button was, he's an F1 champion nonetheless. But if you are him and you're used to those open wheel cars, rubbing is not racing. Not in open wheel cars. No. You will severely hurt yourself if you try that. So it's just interesting to see how these guys adapt. Now, obviously, it was easier for SVG to adapt to these new cars, winning the first race that he was in, finishing 10th in the second race that he's in. And he ran the truck race at IRP, which was pretty cool. Now, I know it's a little bit weird to see that, but you know, if he wants to actually make a run at NASCAR full time, he's going to have to learn how to run ovals. And he ran IRP in the trucks. He finished 19th, which isn't the best, but it's not the worst thing in the world. He could have wrecked and finished last. He completed all the laps. He did what he needed to do. He gained a lot of experience in those ovals. Man, we just did not have enough time to digest everything that happened this weekend. That Michael McDowell win throws an absolute loop into everything in the playoffs. And not to mention, Watkins Glen, Chase Elliott will be the favorite. I told you that. It's a road course. Maybe some other people will show up. Maybe Allmendinger has a great car. Maybe McDowell has another great car and goes back to back. But Daytona, you cannot bank on Daytona. If we have a new winner at Watkins Glen and a new winner at Daytona, one of Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski is not going to make it. We'll detail that situation a little bit tomorrow, as well as talk about the MLB. We're out of time here today. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC. We'll be back with the local programming tomorrow morning. Justin Kazepis getting your morning started. Until then, have a good one, everyone.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.